happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Single Saturdays. I'm your host, Erica J. And like always, I want to get you through your day in a beautiful and positive way. It's interesting to note that we are going through so much in this day-to-day life, and relationships are what we all strive for the ones of us who are single. And there are so many factors. The reason why I started Single Saturdays is because I wanted to bring truth to the realities of relationships. You know, everyone wants to be in a loving relationship. Everybody wants that, you know. And at the beginning and end of the day, there are things you will have to go through. And I know in the past we talked about, we talked about so many different things, and they're valid, and we have to have these open and candid discussions about relationships. Before I start, I want to say, hi, Linda. Yes, I see you, and I'm so excited to have you. I'm going to introduce you in a minute. And Dawn, thank you so much for tuning in thus far. And today's guest is Yasmin, and I really admire her strength and her story on so many levels, and I want to get to you all to know her and her story, and pretty much getting into it all. Thank you so much, Don. You're making me blush. Okay, but I want you all to get to know Yaz, and I hope that we are all going to be filled with just wisdom and insight for love in the future and how to handle what we're going to talk about in a second. So, Yaz, I'm about to add you on. Saturday is going good. This is actually an oldie but goodie. You know what I did? I cut her. Hey, Yaz!
Hi. Yes.
How you feeling, beautiful?
I agree with Dawn. It's the hair for me too.
Thank you. You know, every week I gotta come in here and switch it up a little bit. But
Yep.
I want to just say, one, I love you, Yaz. I just love your honesty for just everything that you are and everything you stand for. I'm big on genuine energy, real big on genuine energy, and I can sense it a mile away. And we've met and we've hung out a few times, and of course we got to put in the plug. We met on Happiness Decoded's live, who is Marcus K, who's been on here a million times. We met through his platform, and I went on there seeking some kind of guidance, and I met Yaz on there, and Dawn, and so many others. And it's so interesting how every platform connects people, especially in a time like we're in right now. So I'm so glad I met you. And today's topic is getting through being in a relationship and how to maneuver through mental illness. But I don't like to use the term illness or mental, just being different, because I don't like to put labels on things. And I was
researching mental state of mind.
Mental state of mind, or in my mind, I think of it as energy. God gives us all different energy, and some people can handle it, some people can't. And when we really think about when we think about humanity, the truth is, they say 90% of people have a mental disorder and don't even know it. So I actually commend the individuals who are going to get the guidance and the help that they need to function through their
day-to-day life.
Their day-to-day life. Thank you. I'm trying to be politically correct without being politically correct. And I honor that, because it's not easy, and truth be told, I honestly believe that 90% of people have a mental disorder and don't know it. Because truth be told, I've met a lot of loonies. You think somebody is normal, and then they show their ass, so to speak, and you realize, nah, I think everybody has a layer of not wrapped too tight, if you want to call it that. So we have to be kind. This is not a judgment zone. This is a safe space and a safe place. And because I want to tie mental illness in with relationships, and that you can have a healthy, functioning relationship, because I admire you and your husband. Yes, you two are the cutest things ever. You two are adorable, and I just love that no matter what it is that you're going through in life, God has that perfect partner for you. So don't discount yourself by any means necessary, because we're all imperfect. I put that in the message under your flyer, we're all imperfectly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no mistakes within you. And anyone who's watching who may be just battling in the day to day, don't dismiss yourself, because you are worthy of love. And I want the world to get to know Yasmin um,
Yeah.
for who she is. So before I start, a little plug for you. Listen, if you are in the tri-state area and you need a bomb dog walker, be sure to hit Yas up right about
Yeah.
now.
Because
Okay?
I have a lot of clients and they can vouch for me. So if you need references, let me know.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So, I want you to introduce yourself a little bit, and then I'll go ahead and ask you some questions. I want people to get to know you for who you are.
Okay, so my name is, here we go. My name is Yasmin. I am obviously a mom. As you can see, this life is gonna, it's gonna be a little hectic, but okay, this whole conversation. Um,
Hi,
I
Ethan.
say, oh, no, I can't show him because he's peeing. But yeah, but anywho, my life consists of busy. It's busy, okay?
Okay.
So I can multitask. So I apologize for all the distractions. But I live in Jersey, and I just am I'm just a busy human being who just like loves to meet new people.
I love that. And it shows on so many levels. You are literally busy bee, and your nature is just what it is. So that's why
Yep.
we can relate. Oh, you heard that? I heard him. He said, "Hi, Ethan. How are you, handsome? I miss you."
Okay, so remember, I told him that if he behaves and lets me do this, that he gets a construction worker costume. So
Okay.
remember, we work for your construction worker costume. All right, bye. All
And in the
right,
meantime,
not
thank
yet.
you all for tuning in. Thank you so
Sorry.
much for Yaz's friends and family, my people. I appreciate you all for tuning in, and we're going to learn something today. All right?
All right,
So,
here we go.
yes, darling,
Talk to me.
I want to know, when did you and your husband meet?
Uh, our story is pretty unique. We met online, and that wasn't my initial goal, but that's how it happened.
Right.
And we like pretty much put ourselves in an arranged marriage, um because we met and
Mhm.
maybe moved in together, and then I didn't do it the right way. I
But
didn't
yeah,
do it the right
yeah,
way.
before you finish, what is the right way?
Well, the way it's supposed to be, hold on. The way it's supposed to be is like you're supposed to get married first. You're supposed to then have kids and then go from there. And obviously, I did it that way the first time with my first marriage, didn't work out 4 years
Right,
in. And
right.
so I did opposite or all over the place with this marriage. And here we are almost 7 years in, like still getting to know each other, but still we made it through despite all the obstacles and us wanting to give up, period.
I love that, because this is where I've had to break out of that mold of what the right way is. And I ask that as a hypothetical. But when you really think about it, yes, it happened the way it was supposed to happen. You did everything right in your first marriage, and it didn't
Yes.
work out. And here you in your second marriage, you're 7 years in, you two are loving, and I admire that. And that's something that I also want to talk about, is kind of breaking out of the mold. And I kind of see um, people with a mental illness, so to speak. I'm trying to be politically correct,
Mm-hmm.
but I see them as outside of the box thinkers. You know,
Yes.
a lot of creatives, people call us crazy, for the term, for the sake of the term. But we see the world differently, and I think that it's okay to be that way. It's okay to think outside of the box and get out of the restrictions. Because I have my moments, and I don't like to use that term, again, because I don't like labels. I think labels are a disservice,
Exactly.
to humanity. We are so much more than that, and we're multidimensional, and we have our moments. And again, I'm going to keep saying this throughout the entire our conversation. 90% of people have a mental disorder and don't know it. So no one's
Hmm.
perfect. So don't judge. And this is a judgment-free zone. This is a safe space. There is no judgment because everybody needs to look themselves in the mirror because we are part of that 90%. We just have a big diagnosis. You get me?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we just gonna keep it a buck. All right. So you and your husband, you met unconventionally, but it happened the right way. Okay.
Exactly.
And what was it about him that drew you to him once you guys just got started, just the whole flow of it, And did he know that you had, or how did you have that conversation with him, if you were diagnosed prior to? And can you also let everyone know what you're diagnosed with?
So I have bipolar disorder. So I have manic bipolar disorder, and then I have anxiety, and I've had depression and OCD. So all that combined is chaotic.
Mhm.
Um, and so I laid it on the line for him to let him know, like, listen, this is what I suffer from. So you either are in it or not. And like, I wasn't looking for anyone, period. But so he knew ahead of time.
Mhm.
Even if there were so many obstacles in it, because I felt bad. I wasn't all mentally there still. I was just going through a lot of ups and downs.
Mhm.
And um there was a lot. Hold on. Can I finish, please? No. The costume. I can't sit there right now. Sorry. This my life. Um so yeah, so like I I wasn't all there, and so he was patient enough. He had it difficult himself to deal with me because I wasn't so simple, but
Mhm.
he put up with me, and
Mhm.
he learned to just go through the ups and downs with me, even if he didn't know anything about mental health at all.
Mhm.
So he put up with all the battles that I was going through, and all the ups and all the downs, because I had more downs than anything.
Mhm.
And that's just how it was. Like, that's basically, he put up with me until this day. He understands more about mental health because of the roller coaster ride he saw me going through.
Mhm.
So that is a big thing. You can't find somebody who would stick with you for that. And my ex-husband, he left me for that. So
Mhm.
that was traumatizing to begin with. So my husband proved that there is there is a spouse out there that will battle it with you, even if they don't understand, basically.
I love that. And I think that's so beautiful. And it's commendable to your husband. And can you talk about some of the things he does specifically to kind of help you through a moment?
Well, like I said, he's still learning, but his personality and his way of being, like, it balances us out,
Right.
because I'm not affectionate. I'm very difficult to begin with, and I'm sometimes too hardcore. But he's opposite of that. So he's more
Mhm.
laid back. He's more he's more affectionate and more loving in that area. Not to say I'm not loving. However, I show love in different ways.
Right.
So he gives he smiles a lot, he jokes a lot, even if he's corny. But all that is him he tries to understand
Mhm.
the best he can. And so he's still in the learning process, but I appreciate it because he's trying.
Right. And that's honest. And I respect him for, battling this out with you. And that's the beautiful thing about marriage. When you're with the right partner, they're going to understand you. And if they don't, they're going to try their best to do and be your support system. It's not just about the fluff of, the motion in the ocean or the fun
Exactly.
conversations. There comes a time in your relationship where the depth is going to have to really rear its head. How invested in this thing are you? And I really commend that. And it's a beautiful thing. And while we're speaking, for anyone who has any questions for Yaz, feel free to please ask them in the question box, because I don't be wearing my glasses on this thing and I can't
And
see.
I'm not multitasker when it comes to reading and talking at the same time.
Right.
So
So
I'll
the
try my
question box,
best.
you see the question with the question box, and that's where you ask the question, and I'll be sure to ask Yaz.
No problem.
Um, so I love that. So let me ask you, when specifically were you diagnosed?
I was um I was diagnosed with all this in 2000 and like I think it was just no 2014, but I've
2014?
suffered of it pretty much for a really long time.
Mm,
So, but it was undiagnosed. So
right.
it wasn't sorry, it wasn't
Don't apologize. You're fine.
it wasn't like diagnosed I until I and had like an episode. And when I had an
Mm,
episode, I unfortunately ended up in the psych ward.
mm-hmm,
And that was just how everything like went down.
mm-hmm,
So, um, that's how it's always been.
mm,
So, but it's always been undiagnosed. So it kind of was a reliever
mm-hmm.
for me to be able to like be finally like somebody could tell me what it was, like
Right.
what I was feeling and why, because
Mm-hmm.
I had no one to understand either. Like nobody could understand what was going on with me either for so many years, even
Right.
before marriages or kids, period.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough, but it was kind of like like a sigh of relief and a breaking point for me after that.
Mm, I love that. I love that. And it's honest. But can I ask you, what does an episode actually feel like? What does it feel like? Do you feel like you have control? Do you feel like you lose control? Like, what is that? Because
Um,
I'm I'm asking because I think that many of us have had these moments and we just don't know that we've had these moments. So go ahead, Yaz.
yeah. So it is, you have the feeling of it's everything I just told you all attacking you at once. So you get your depression, but then you get your high. Like it's a moment where you feel super like, okay, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, you throughout the day, you can switch and do a 360 and you're just sad and you don't know why. You're depressed, you're frustrated, you're angry. And then your anxiety kicks in. So my anxiety makes me like my OCD come out. So I'm with my OCD, I'm an excessive cleaner. And I everything has to be in an order. So I can't just, I have to clean a certain area first and then work my way that way. And then I feel better after.
Mm-hmm.
And then calm. So my brain goes all over the place. Along with forgot to mention that my adult ADHD, where it's just like all that, it's like you're on the go, you never sit down.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm talking, I'm standing up right now, but you're on the go constantly, so it's like you can't sometimes you can't function, your thoughts can't be you can't gather your thoughts properly. Your mind is all over the place, you can't seem to concentrate, you can't really like you can't hold a conversation most times with people. And
Mm-hmm.
so the multitasking of life is just, it's not possible having those type of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it feels like. It's chaotic in your head and in your body all at the same time.
Mm. That's think I've been there before. I'm being honest, sometimes when we can't process or we're not, for me in my mind, like how I see it is, sometimes when we're emotionally off and we can't find that center, like we have those moments, like those breakdown moments, especially, things can trigger it. It can be a loss that triggers it. It can be, anything can trigger it, and it's really interesting. And before I started this, I looked up some references online as to what mental illness is and the facts and the numbers, right? So I'm going to read some of these things for you all, okay? So it says 1 in 4 adults, approximately 57.7 million Americans, experience a mental health disorder in a given year. 1 in 17 lives with a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, major depression, or bipolar disorder. And about 1 in 10 children live with a serious mental or emotional disorder. So that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. That's the person to the left and to the right of you, and we have to be kind and patient. So I commend your husband. And eventually, when he gets back from Brazil, that both of you will come on and, we'll have a further discussion just about, your relationship. And I really
Sure.
appreciate you doing this because, especially with 2020, I think 2020 triggered a lot of things in people. People actually had to stare themselves in the mirror for the first time in a very long time,
That's
and
what I
deal
did.
with them. Say that again.
I said, that's what I did. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a huge breaking point, but this was the point where I was like, I need to get it together big time.
Mhm.
So that's where, you know, I got to meet Jamie, our other,
Mhm.
and she helped me meet Marcus. And then from
Mhm.
that point on, like with Marcus's help, and then finally seeing a psychiatrist like that actually cared and actually took the time to just be like, okay, we're gonna find the right, method for you, and being
Mhm.
on the right medication, like all that combined, it
Mhm.
mentally got me where I need to be. Like I can finally function and have a normal life based on
Mhm.
all these different tools that I forced myself to do because I needed it. Otherwise, honestly, my last choice was basically like ending it. That's how it was. Like
Mhm.
you come at the point in your life um where, can you sit in the table here with me? All right. Um, so you come to a point in your life where you're just like, just because you're a mom, it doesn't matter anymore. So you don't even
Mhm.
think of your child, you don't think of your family, you don't think of anything. You just think of the fact that I want to stop it. I don't want to be here no more. I don't care anymore. They'll be just fine.
Mhm.
They'll just
Right.
be fine. So
Right.
but I had to stop that because to I didn't want to act on that.
Right.
So because my kid needs me. So
Right.
that's where I took, you know, the bull
You,
by its
you,
horn, and I was
you,
like, I'm gonna do this right now.
right. And you pull yourself back. And I mean, these are interesting times. And we have a question, but before I ask the
Hmm.
question, I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to anyone who may be feeling in their darker spaces, and having those thoughts? What's some advice that you would give them in order to realize the value of their life and the value that they have to offer this world?
Don't not take it serious
Mhm.
because you really don't know if you'll act on it. But like, um, don't be ashamed. Talk. You need to talk. You need to let it out and talk. If you don't have a
Mm.
support system, find one, because there are people out there that actually go through the same thing as you. And when you talk to people who get you, it
Mhm.
makes a world of a difference. Seek
Right.
the help you need. Go to your doctor. If your doctor recommends you need a psychiatrist, don't be ashamed. Go to the psychiatrist. If your doctor
Mhm.
recommends a therapist, seek a therapist. Get the help. It doesn't matter how many times you try a therapist until you find the right one. Do it
Mhm.
because it's your sanity, and you
Mhm.
want to live life. You don't want
Mhm.
to end it. So there are solutions to it. We can't think like, this is it for me. We can't think
Right.
that way. You have to seek all the help possible because it exists in order for
Mhm.
you to be legit with yourself. So basically, don't give up. Do what you
I
got to
love that.
do.
That's beautiful. Beautiful words of encouragement. I appreciate that, Yaz. And if I could give anyone an advice, because I've been in those dark spaces too, and this is what I love about this platform. I created it for transparency to help people to get through life, and I've been in those dark spaces, Yaz. I've
Mm-hmm.
like literally thought about a million different ways, and what really helped me was a support group, my friends, that I confide in, and as well as a lot of prayer and meditation. It helped me to center myself and to really see that I have a purpose here. And once I started to really just hone in on focusing on that and eliminating distracting negativity, whether it be family or just anything negative, I eliminated that. And I had those thoughts about 3 years ago, and I've been in a much better space. And I'm grateful to the people who I've confided in, who helped me. Because certain things we're afraid to talk about. I've never been to a psychiatrist, but I think just in general in life, I think we've all been in those dark spaces, some more than others. And again, I don't like to put labels on things, but I feel like energy is a big deal. And as long as we're shifting our energy to positivity, I mean, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a psychologist, but I see the life as energy. And maybe that will help, just seeing the glass half full instead of half empty or completely empty. So I'm going to
Exactly.
ask a question right now, and it's from uh, Dawn, and it says, what are some things that you are doing to manage your mental health? And that's a great question.
All right, so thanks to you ladies and Marcus, I learned to I learned about self-care. Something
Mm,
I never thought about. So when I heard it explained to me, I was like, okay, so it just self-care doesn't mean, going to take a shower or, like the daily things. It
right.
means doing something that's going to help me personally tone down my anxiety and my mental state of mind in the moment when I'm going nuts all over, right? What is it that you wanted? What is it that calms you, Yasmin? Like, what is it that can just tone that down? So for me, it's been sitting down and work, like art, so to speak, art
Mhm.
of learning how to do my nails. And I was just doing it
And
before I called you. So,
she's a
like,
professional. Listen, yeah, I started doing this in the beginning of the pandemic, and like, let's see the nails, guys. Let's see the
I haven't
nails.
gotten to him yet. I'm still working on it, but I'll take a picture. You can go to my page and see some of my job work.
Right.
But it was for a hobby. It's for my self care because I found something that I can actually focus on that my mind isn't going,
Mhm.
a million miles an hour and all over the place. So
Mhm.
that's why I used that's what I learned. I was like, wow, this is something that I actually just enjoy doing, sitting and just calming myself that way as I drink a
Mhm.
glass of wine. So,
With the
like,
ice cream.
and my ice cream. Um, but like that all was new to me. I was like, wow, self-care. And now that I see it more posted on people's pages,
Mhm.
and videos, like everything's about self-care, something that was never considered or talked about before this pandemic.
Right.
Everybody's discovering it now. What is your niche? What is your thing to keep
Mhm.
you, even if you don't have a mental disorder or whatever, what is
Mhm.
mentally keeps you sane?
Mm.
So that's what everybody's learning to discover now. And mine happens to be doing my nails. So this is how it goes.
I love that, and it's the calming in youth. Some of my self
Exactly.
care elements. You talked about a shower. Like, listen, in New York, they don't have water bills in apartments in New York City, so I be running that hot water serious, right? But like long hot showers, just to kind of like release and just, I mean, those are so soothing to me. Some people, it's a nice bath. And I mean, every now and again, I do have a glass of wine. And my biggest thing is smoothies. Like, I put mad flax seeds in my smoothies, and just kind of sit down and just unwind. And I'm big on candle burning now. burn a lot of candles and incense, and I just set
Because
the
of
mood.
you, because of you, I learned the incense thing. And I'm like, oh, now I'm addicted to the incense. So now I do my nails with the incense. And I'm like, yeah, wine, incense, and doing my nails is all good.
I love it. I love it. And you, but doesn't it set the tone? Because Yas
It
came
does.
over and she was like, "Girl, the energy is so calm in here." She's
Yes.
like, "What is that? It smells so good." I'm like, "Yo, it's my incense," you know.
Yes. Even
And
my dogs get high off of it. So, so incense is legit, but I hear you. I feel you. Everybody has their own way of like, you know, de-stressing their
right,
minds.
right.
So,
It goes. I love that because it goes a long way, and I'm glad that you found your center. And for those of you who are listening who haven't found something to give you a calm, just like I said, think about what are some things you really like or what helps you relax, and just do that. Even if it's taking a nap. If taking a nap helps you, take a nap.
do it.
I mean, seriously, like it's okay.
Yep.
Your well being is more important than other people's opinions about you, and you have to change your perception of yourself. So in these calm moments, you can actually have legitimate conversations with yourself to help yourself be better. Journaling is another thing that people can do. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many different things, but
Hmm.
I love that. And that was a great question, Don. Great question.
Yes.
Um, so I have another question
Hmm.
for you. Um, how do you take accountability for your process, right? How do you take accountability for processing? So if you happen to have a moment, do you just blame it or you just say, oh, it's because I have bipolar disorder? Or do you, I know we talked about self care, but, or do you take accountability for, okay, yes, I have a moment. I have a husband and I have a child. They need me. Why are you acting like this? What is the trigger? Like, do you have those accountability moments?
The
And
second part, sorry, the second
no, it's
part to what
okay.
you
And
said.
then,
Hmm.
and what are some things you do outside of self care? Are they is it like taking your medication, alone time? Like, what are some things?
So basically, what you just said, before I used to blame it on everything that I'm suffering from. But then I'm just like, then I learned, like, you can't blame it on that. You,
Mm-hmm.
like, get it together, Yasmin. Like, you do. I say it too. You got your kid that needs you first. You got your husband, and I got my dogs that need me. So everybody needs of me. I am the roof of this home, and I need to be legit positive with myself for them to feel the energy and for them to be legit with themselves.
Right.
So, like, that's just what I have to try. I have to get myself to snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I basically, yeah, I take my medication
Mm-hmm.
and make sure I'm on it. We're talking with Marcus, like,
Mm-hmm.
weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do everything I can to just keep myself, like, focused in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I can fall into that state of mind less
Mm-hmm.
and just stay more positive more.
Right.
So that's pretty much what I do. So, like, all that helps. All that helps. And I just have to constantly keep myself going with it and not like give it up and not just say, oh, I'm tired of doing this, because it's like, you can't be tired of doing this. This is what's helping you. It's like,
Right.
you either, if you're tired of doing this, and you're going to go back to what you were doing, and that's more exhausting. So
Right.
get it together, snap out of it, and just stay focused. So that's what I do. But I always do take accountability for it.
I honor that. I honor that because I do know some people who are diagnosed, and it's not to take away from me being empathetic to them, but
Hmm.
I do notice that there is a lack of accountability, and I say that in most cases when people actually are suffering from something, they oftentimes don't want to take accountability for their actions, and it's a blame game. And no matter what it is, whether it is a clinical disorder or weight or relationship issues, we all have to take accountability for our actions. And I think a lot of times society has just kind of given us a pass, especially as women, a pass to be whatever you are, be whoever you are, and the rest of the world has to cater. And that's the wrong way. We have to shift the system to us being accountable for ourselves. And yes, being a woman is hard. We are emotional. I don't know why. I don't know why God do this like this, but it's true.
Because he felt as though we're the strongest ones to be able to handle it all, and we proved that right.
That was
So,
deep.
like, I mean, you think about it, and you could sit here and think about it. A man is not capable of handling the entire world in their hands, but we can.
Mm,
We can have a bunch of stuff thrown at us, and we can handle it. They have a kid in the background right now talking like he is and all the distractions, and they wouldn't be able, they'd just be like stressing about it. And here we are, like, this is just life. Like, we just
right,
learn how to bypass that and just do it. So
right,
we
right.
are we're the strong vessel, and we're the ones that he chose to hold it down. Because that's just how it is. Even if we were taking from Adam's, rib, but we were put on the side there to be their strength. So that's just how I feel. Like, God knew what he was doing by putting us as a stronger person in life. So, like, I'm gonna take that.
That was words of wisdom from Yasmin. Y'all heard that, Depth? Did y'all hear that from Yas? I felt
So,
all of that. I felt it because it's
so
real.
yeah.
And how does, if you don't mind me asking, how does
Mhm.
your spirituality or your relationship with God help you in with suffering with bipolar disorder?
It's been rocky because um it's been an up and down kind of state of relationship between God and I, because of the
Mm-hmm.
fact of all the stuff that happened and all the stuff that began happening to me from the moment I got married first to
Mm-hmm.
the first
Mm-hmm.
husband, and then after everything went downhill from there and all this type of 360 started happening in my life. um that really made it, rocky for me. I didn't take accountability at that point. I always blamed him for it. So I
Mm-hmm.
just I lost myself in my spiritual, being. I just didn't. I like, honestly, I hated God for it. I was like, I did everything right for you, and then look what happened. So, like, what do I need you for? Like, what do I
Mm-hmm.
need to be here for? Like, that's when I started to dwell on a lot of stuff. And then, slowly I was just like, it's as if I usually have a conversation with him all the time, and it's as if I'm talking just like I am talking with you.
Right.
Like, I have a conversation with him. I don't have it physically, like talking out loud, but I have it it's him hearing me in my head and my heart, and we're just talking. Like, we're just talking. I may be cleaning or something, but we're talking. And then
Right.
it's him that got me through all this. So it just, like, my relationship with him is up and down, but I'm here. I know it's him that got me through. Like, there's
Right.
nothing else that could have possibly got me out of that state of mind. It was him. So
Mm-hmm.
I owe it to him, and
Right.
he needs me. So I have to do everything I can to utilize his help, and then also, like, um keep him as my best friend, because that's what he is. He's your number one best friend. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's not like the president of the United States. You could talk to him anytime you want.
Right.
So it's that's a luxury we all have, and we take it for granted. And yeah, he's so merciful, and he's so kind and loving that he puts up with us talking to him that way anyway. And he still says, all right, I got you still, and I
Right.
know you're going to learn from this, or I know you're going to see that I helped you through this,
Right.
but I get you. So you could be angry with me, that's
Right.
fine. But then once you get out of it, you're just like, that God, like, I'm sorry. Like I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry. Like I thank you, because
Right.
you forget. You
Right.
lose yourself in your problems and you forget to think of him, and you want to you tend to want to blame him.
Mm-hmm.
But now I discovered my relationship even more now because of all the changes that I've made.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna always put him first, and I'm gonna keep trying to put him first, and I'm gonna keep trying to teach my kid to put him first. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just what I want. I want a harmonious home with him always present. So,
Mm-hmm.
because that is what causes me peace, and that's what I notice. So, I need the peace in here because he's in here, you know?
Right.
So,
I love that. And like, trust me, I've had my moments with God too. I done had a few moments with God, especially last year. But a lot. Like, and
mhm.
I've listen. Like you said, how you talk to him in that in the intimate moments. Listen, I be having temper tantrums sometimes because sometimes it's like we want to know everything. We want to know our whole life from beginning to end. But if we knew it, we wouldn't follow it. So
Exactly.
you know,
If
so
he
it's like that
tells us
butterfly.
everything, yeah, if he tells us everything ahead of time, then what what do we have to work towards? How are
Right,
we going to build a relationship with him? How are we, if like we can't, you can't know everything. Sometimes with God it's just like, I don't need to tell you everything. Sometimes it's just like that with the kid. Your
right,
kid wants to know something, I don't have to answer that because sometimes I don't know.
right,
So it's just
right.
how it is. So that's for God first. I don't have to answer that to you because it's just how it is. So we have to
Mm,
accept that. We have to accept
mm,
it and just wait until our life, takes its course and it develops, and that's it. Because we always want to question things, and we want to because that's our human, like within us as humans. That's what we want to do. But sometimes we just got to step back and be like, all right, I'm gonna just leave it at that, and then just wait, just be
I
patient
love
and wait.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be patient and wait. That was beautiful, yes. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way. And I love that. And I wanted to ask you, for
Mhm.
people who are the significant other of a person battling with a mental disorder, what are some tips or advice that you would give them? And then I have a follow-up question to that. So,
Okay. Be sympathetic and empathetic, basically putting yourself in their shoes, because we all have moments, but this particular human being has the moment all the time. Um, Listen, don't talk. Just listen. If they need to cry, let them cry. If you happen to want to cry with them, go ahead, cry with them. Um, Give them a hug. Even if they want to vent the whole time about the same thing, everything negative, 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 let them. Just let them do it. Be there for them, because at the end of the day, even if they're not mentally all there, they're going to notice that my person my person's been there for me, whether it's your spouse, significant other, or your friend or family member. They're going to know, like, man, they never leave my side, they're always put up with me, and they always deal with me, and they always listen. We're going to notice that. We're going to
mhm,
notice that. So
mhm,
that's what people have to do for that's what people I suggest you do for, because if that's what I would want for myself,
mhm.
and me
Right.
suffering from it, I give that to somebody, regardless if they suffer of it or not. I
Mhm,
I do it for that somebody because I would love that in return from anybody else. Just
mhm,
just be a friend first than anything. Just be a friend. Be there. Just be there. Just be the body to be there for them.
right.
That's what I suggest.
I honor that and I respect that. And again, it goes back to being with the right person, the right counterpart, and be sure to choose wisely. And with that same question, what is some advice that you would give? Oh, go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, I'm just looking at Ethan because
Okay.
I gotta
What is
calm
some
him
advice you
down.
would give? Say it again.
I said, because I gotta calm him down. He
Uh,
gets a little hype.
I love him. It's no worries. Let him live. Yeah, let him live. Um, what is some advice you would give to single individuals who are diagnosed in the hopes of looking for love? What's some advice that you would give them looking for love?
So, first of all, handle yourself mentally first before you get
Mhm.
into any type of relationship. Because I had it tough. And if you just get into it with just the way you are, mentally not, disturbed, not everybody's going to be able to put up with that. So there's not mentally strong spouses that can deal with that. Like spouses that got it together, that don't suffer from it, they're not going to be able to handle it. And you don't want to be let down, and then you don't want to feel guilty and regret it and feel like a loser for having this person leave you because they couldn't handle it. I learned that with my first marriage. It's not his fault, but you know, um, I get where he was coming from, but I learned that you you can't throw your problems, your mental illness on them, because it's just not fair.
Mhm.
So handle yourself first before you go looking for a spouse, and let that be the first topic of your conversation when you're getting to know somebody. That, listen, i'm I'm going through this is what I battle with, but I'm handling it. I have a psychiatrist, I have a therapist, I have a support group.
Mhm.
I But I'm ready for a relationship.
Mhm.
And all I need is just support and backup. That's it. Like, from your behalf, if you're willing to give that to me.
Mm.
And let them decide that for themselves, because there are people that'll be like, all right, I get you. And you may not know if that person that you encounter will say, you know what, me too, I go through it too. So then you can both battle it together.
Mm.
So get yourself right first before you go and you find a person who you can who you can you know vulnerably tell that to,
Right.
because
Right.
it's only fair, you know.
I honor that answer so much, and I think it's so true. I think that it is such a huge disservice, and it's such a dishonoring when people aren't forthright with things that they're battling with, and things that are important for another person to know. That is completely valid, because you'll hear stories that a person, and this goes with transparency in the sense of, we want to make sure that we're marrying and being with the right person. So if you take another person's options away, you didn't give them the right to say, I can deal with this. So people are getting married knowing that they have a clinical diagnosis and not letting their spouse
Hold on.
know until later in the marriage. It's so unfair. It is
Mm-hmm.
so unfair to do that. It's selfish.
It
You have
is.
every right to not just honor yourself, but to honor the person that you supposedly love, to be forthright and say, hey, I'm battling with this. Because honestly, yeah, if you never told me, or if I didn't know, I wouldn't think that you had any kind of diagnosis.
Exactly. But it's
I
different
honestly
with a
don't.
spouse. It's different with the spouse, because let's say they were the same. They would have never known either. It's when you both living together, that's when everything gets revealed. So
Mm,
they're gonna know right then and there. And it's not fair to them, because you have to give that person the option to say, listen, I'm sorry that you are going through this, but I don't think I can handle it. So I don't think we can move forward from here. And you have to accept that. It doesn't
right,
mean it's over. It doesn't mean nobody else will. It's just
right.
that that particular human being can't handle that. And it's honorable from their behalf to tell you that ahead
Yes.
of time, before you got into the relationship and you started all these issues and problems. And then for what? For you to end up being the one that ends up on the statistics and a failed marriage? Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So you want somebody to be honest with you that way. You got to be honest, but you need them to also let them tell you that, and be okay with it. Don't take it personal. It's not because of it's not because of what you battle with, because you're not horrible for battling that. You're not a bad person for battling it. You're not weak for battling it. That's just what that's what your obstacle, your tribulation in life is. So, and they have their own battle and tribulation themselves. So, you know, that's okay. It's okay if you get rejected and told that I'm not all for this. That's completely okay. And I think that we, the ones who suffer, who deal with it, we have to stop thinking that everybody needs to pity us, and that we have to stop thinking that, okay, we need people to feel bad for us. You need to understand. Nobody needs to understand nothing. Like, you can't expect everybody to understand you. So I learned that the hard way. I didn't expect my husband to understand me. He didn't understand me. He didn't have to understand me, because he didn't know anything about this. So our marriage is a very unique one, because we are definitely stronger now than we were before. And man, I appreciate that man every single day, because he puts up with me. He chose to still stick around instead of saying, no, I can't do this, I'm gonna get divorced. As many times as we said it, we never went through with it. So he put up with it. He decided, I'm gonna do this. I am rocky and shaky about it, but I'm gonna do this. And I feel like you're gonna get past it. I feel like you're gonna get through it. You're gonna find your moment, and you're gonna get through it. And this was my moment. And to hear your husband or your spouse say, you know, I'm proud of you, I see the difference. That's everything. For me particularly, that's everything. For my husband to recognize that, and to see, wow, we really didn't give up. We haven't been married for that long, but we didn't give up. So we're still here. We're stronger than ever. I'm learning a lot about things in life that I never learned before, as far as the point of view of another human being. Like, it's not, they don't have to accept it, you know, like, you just need to accept yourself for them to just accept you, period. Nice. So it's all within you. You set that foundation as a person. So in your household, when you get married, like, again, I said, God made us, the women, to set forth that example, to be that strength, regardless of your state of mind. But he gave us that role. So we need to fulfill that role, because then we're the ones that bring the positivity. We're the one that creates the energy in our life and in our home and within our family, whether it's a spouse, whether it's your mom, your dad, anybody. We're the ones that create that energy, and we throw it at them. They could take it anywhere they want, but we got to be legit with ourselves. We gotta love ourselves. And I learned that the hard way, but I finally did it.
I love that, Yaz. That was so beautiful, so articulate, so transparent, because everyone needs to hear that. No matter what you're going through, be real and take accountability for yourself. Again, no one owes you anything, you know? And regardless of what your battle is, what your thorn in your side is, you have to be accountable for it. You know, do the things and create the standard of what you want to attract. So, yes, this was completely a beautiful conversation. Like, I feel all of it, and it just really warmed my heart. And if anyone has any last minute questions, do not hesitate to put them in the question box below. But did you want to wrap up with anything else? I mean, you said a whole mouthful, but is there anything that was on your heart that you wanted to express?
I miss you.
I miss you too. I swear, we're gonna hang. I swear we're hanging soon, guys. I
I
promise you.
mean, even if it's a virtual hangout, but
Okay,
I don't
I
know, I
promise.
wrap up with everything that I said, just like I just learn and figure yourself out in life. Just be content with what yourself, be content with who you are, and just accept yourself no matter all your defects and flaws, basically.
I love it. Hi,
So
Ethan. We're gonna go to the park soon, okay?
Erica says we're gonna go to the park soon, okay?
Again?
Yes.
Yes. soon.
Erica!
Yes.
You're gonna break my leg.
How you feeling?
No, no, that's
We're
when
gonna
the
go to the park.
summertime
I
comes.
know.
The
It's exciting.
springtime. The springtime. Got
Are
it?
you ready?
Mama, can I tell you something?
Oh goodness. The life of a mom and the dog mom. Um,
No worries. No
I
worries.
love you, God. I love you. Thanks for pulling me in, letting me
No
talk,
worries. Yes, this was
and
a pleasure, and thank you so much, Yaz. Thank you
no
all for tuning
problem.
in. I hope you all got some nourishment. Go take time with Ethan. See you
Hmm.
all next Saturday, beautiful people. Until then, have a great day. Love you all.
Bye. Love
Bye,
you.
Yaz. Love you.